This is a full-length yin yoga sequence for when you're craving a deep stretch to move energy through every part of your body. To get started, come into child's pose. The head can be resting on the floor or on a block or a pillow. And feel the sensations in your back. Feel any sensations in your legs and knees. And feel your breath. And coming up, making your way onto your belly for a back bend in seal pose or as an alternative Sphinx pose on the elbows. So for more intensity, you can lift up into the seal with straighter arms, and you can find the angle of the arms that works for you, farther forward for less intensity, farther back for more intensity. And for a simpler, gentler sensation, the Sphinx pose, staying down on the elbows. Your legs can come wider or narrower as you feel the sensations in your lower back, your sacrum, adjusting as you need to so you find a place that feels right, just the right amount of stretch. And slowly releasing your Sphinx or seal pose, rest on your belly with your arms down alongside the body or in any position that feels good. And as you rest, feel the rebound, feel the effects of the stretch in your low back. Notice anywhere that sensations are happening now, anywhere in your body. And pressing up and back into child's pose, move slowly. And resting here as you bend your back in the opposite direction, feel the lower back. Feel the sacrum and the back of your hips. And coming up to hands and knees and making your way into dragon pose, stepping your right leg forward. Your hands can be on the inside of your foot, or you could twist it and tilt the hips. Feel free to explore a bit here. You could follow my explorations, or if you know the variation that you like, you could come right into it. You could turn the front toes out to the side and maybe come down onto the elbows, or rest your elbows on a couple blocks. Or come into this dragon split variation, maybe with a support under your right thigh, a block or two. Finding your variation of dragon. Feel free to continue moving if it feels right, or to find a place of stillness. And releasing dragon pose, stepping back slowly to downward dog. And walking the legs in downward dog, bend one knee at a time, feel the hips, the thighs after that first side. You could come through a vinyasa if you'd like, moving down into chaturanga with or without dropping the knees first, and up into upward dog or cobra. And back into down dog. Step your left leg forward, dragon on the second side. Once again, exploring variations or going straight to your favorite variation. So maybe you're down on the elbows for that lizard variation, maybe it's the dragon split. Maybe it's hands both on the inside of the foot or the kind of twisting, tilting hips. Or hands on either side of the front foot. The target area of this pose is the back leg, the front of your back leg, the quadriceps, the hip flexors, the psoas. And so as you sink down through your right hip, you might be able to feel a gentle release here. If you find that you have any discomfort under the back knee, then take the time to arrange a blanket under the knee for cushioning. Breathing and softening here. Moving as much as you feel like, or finding that stillness. And slowly releasing and coming into downward facing dog. Once again, you could walk the legs here. You could come through a vinyasa if you'd like, taking the plank pose, dropping the knees, or keeping the legs straight and coming down into your version of a push-up and into a back bend. Returning to downward dog. And dropping the knees, making your way into sleeping swan with the right leg coming forward, externally rotating the leg and lifting up into up swan, or alternatively, come onto your back for figure four pose. Lifting up through the chest if you're in that up swan, lengthening through the back leg and the front of the thigh and the front of the hip. And when you're ready, coming down into sleeping swan. You can be down on your elbows or rest your forehead down to the ground or support your head with a cushion or a block. Softening, breathing into what you're feeling here in the glutes on the right side or wherever else you're feeling sensation in this position. And to release Sleeping Swan, gently lift up, slowly press up, and coming into Downward Dog for another optional vinyasa. Staying in Downward Dog if you'd like, Child's Pose if you'd like. Or making your way into plank, down through your push-up, up into your back bend, and back into Downward Dog. And feeling the difference between the right and the left side. As we take the left leg forward now into Up Swan to begin with. So finding this back bend sensation here, this sense of length along the front of the right leg. Or taking the figure 4 option with the left ankle over the right knee. Settling into your pose, using a prop under the head in either of these poses to make it more accessible, more comfortable. Make any final adjustments so that there's no discomfort or pain in that front knee especially. You can always change the angles of the front leg or the angle of your torso to stretch your target area. Left glutes. And breathing and softening. And now, when you're ready, you can begin to slowly come up out of Sleeping Swan. So you can lean over, bring that back leg around to the front, and rest on the back for a nice long rebound. Feeling the energy in the legs after the 2 sides of that pose. Feeling the energy in the hips. Noticing if there's any sensation in the spine, the torso, the shoulders, or the arms. And letting yourself dwell in this place of sensation, soaking in it, and bathing in it. And now bending the knees, hug them into your chest. And move side to side if it feels good. And we're going to roll forward and back 5 or 6 times on the spine. You could skip this if it doesn't feel good on your spine. Otherwise, using some core strength to roll forward and back. And we're going to end up in a seated position. Come into a hamstring stretch of your choice. So the choices are with the left leg extended. You could bend your right leg in half frog or cross the foot over and stack right knee on top of the left for half shoelace. Or bend the foot in half butterfly. Half butterfly or half frog are going to be our main options here. And what we're going for as you choose your option is the sensation of stretch in your extended leg, in your left leg. So if you come into this frog option and it feels mostly like a hip stretch or like something's happening in the inner thigh on the right leg or elsewhere, then that might not be the right variation for today because we want to stretch into the left hamstrings. Feel free to support yourself with any props, supporting the forehead or the chest with pillows, or sitting up on top of a cushion. And now slowly coming out of your pose, taking both legs out in front, repositioning your hips as you prepare for the second side. So half butterfly, half frog, half shoelace, your choice. None of these posture choices is more advanced than the other. It's really just a matter of bodies being built differently, and one variation might work a lot better for one yogi, while another might work a lot better for another yogi. And softening and breathing into this forward bend, Noticing where the sensation is, probably in the back of the leg, in the back of the thigh, but maybe also in your calf or in your spine, in the back of your torso. Notice the position of your head and see if you enjoy relaxing your head more or keeping it a bit more extended forward. Again, that's your choice. And now to release your forward bend, slowly come up and bring the bent leg forward to come onto the back for another nice long rest. Feeling into the body, noticing the sensations of energy that are moving and flowing. Once again, bending the knees, hug them into the chest, maybe lifting the head up toward the knees for a moment. And now leg hinges. Place the hands under the buttocks, palms down. Extend the legs upward. Lift your head, engage the abs, and lower the legs down slowly 2 or 3 times. Maybe finding some release in the sacrum as you do this. And then you can make your way back up to sit. As we come into frog pose. So opening the knees, use a blanket under the knees if you'd like some cushioning there. Or for an alternative, you can come back to sitting and take the butterfly pose. And whichever of these options you choose, the target area is the inner thigh on both sides, the inner groin area. And you can explore the width between the knees. You can explore whether your feet are closer to each other in the frog or farther apart. Letting yourself melt into the posture. begin to come out of it slowly. Make your way into child's pose. Arms can be forward or down at your sides as you rest and feel what's happening inside your body. And from child's pose, come up to hands and knees for rolling panda. Beginning with the left arm, reach it up into the sky and slide it under the right, threading it through. For the first part of the pose, you could keep both knees on the ground. Reach the right arm above the head and use it for support as you turn your chest. The main target area here is not so much a twist, but a stretch of the left side of the neck. And for a less intense version of this left side of the neck stretch, you could come into graceful bow, the easy seated position where you simply tilt and let the head hang to the side. For the second half of this posture, taking the right leg out to the side like a kickstand, which can help bring the head a little farther through, moving the stretch more toward the back body. And your right hand could stay on the floor, maybe pressing into the floor a bit. Or you could wrap it behind the back if you like that. Feeling the sensations created in the body by this unique position, this unique shape. In addition to the neck, the target area extends down the upper back into the trapezius, where the neck connects to the spine and the shoulder blades. And now slowly releasing, rolling panda, coming back to hands and knees and setting up for the second side. Right arm reaches straight up and then comes through and under. Keeping both knees on the ground to begin and stretching the right side of the neck by finding this length between the right shoulder and the right ear. So it might even mean adjusting a little bit to slide the right ear away from the shoulder. Remembering this is your practice, so if this doesn't feel right, if neither of these options feels right, then feel free to make your own variation to stretch into this area of the body or to rest. extending the left leg out to the left side like a kickstand, bringing the head perhaps a little farther through. Feel the stretch moving more toward the back body. Thinking of this again more as a forward bend now, rather than a twist. To get that nice length and stretch and pull of the fascia in the back body, in the upper back. It's okay to do a little movement and exploration here. To release rolling panda, taking the knees in, return to hands and knees and climb into child's pose. And rest. From your child's pose, come up to hands and knees and make your way into Seiza. Sit on top of your heels or use a block or two or a cushion under your seat and in between your feet. And this may be the pose that you stay in, or you may lean back on the hands to move into a bit more of a back bend. You could also use blocks or some kind of support under the hands, or come all the way back into saddle, maybe lying back over cushions. You could use larger cushions. And this is not a posture for everyone, so feel free to stay up in the Seiza pose. You can be on top of your feet if you are all the way back in saddle, or you can take the other variation, the Supta Virasana variation, sitting in between your feet. Again, neither one is right or wrong, or more advanced or less advanced. It's really just different preferences, different hip structures that might prefer the two kinds of variations. Whichever pose you find yourself in, noticing the sensations in the front of the thighs, maybe up into the front of the hips and the psoas, and if you're lying back, maybe feeling it in the sacrum, around the lower back. And perhaps sending your energy into softening in this area. Releasing in the area of the hips, the lower back, the front of the thighs. And now slowly coming out of the pose, moving slowly, moving carefully, making your way into a resting position on your back, feeling the rebound, taking another nice long rest here. Make yourself comfortable. Spreading out as much as you want to. And bending the knees, hugging them into your chest. Lift the head and begin to rock and roll again, forward and back 3 or 4 times. Finding yourself in boat pose, knees can be bent or straight. And feel your core pulling together here. Strengthen the abdominals after all this stretching and lengthening and pulling the bones apart. Now we can feel the opposite, pulling them back together. You can rock and roll a few more times. As we rock and roll a little bit more, another 5 or 6 times. And we're going to end up in either snail pose, sending the legs up and back over the head, or caterpillar pose. So caterpillar will be less sensation, less intensity, and less pressure on the neck, but can also still be quite a deep stretch in the back body. And if you're in the snail pose, you could use the hands to support your back. So your hands could be down along the mat. You may choose to modify this with blankets under the shoulders if you're familiar with that propping. And your toes may come to the ground, or they might hover like mine. It's not so important. What is important is where you feel the pose. The target area is the back body, the spine, and the back of the legs, but especially middle, upper spine, and even lower spine and sacrum. And of course, you might be feeling a great sense of length in the neck. And slowly releasing your pose, making your way into a restful position on the back, another rebound. Taking a few long moments here to notice what's happening in the body after that strong spinal stretch, which can tend to release a lot of energy sometimes. And now setting up for windshield wipers. Bend your knees, place your feet as wide apart as your mat, and let the knees fall side to side, right to left. Arms could be spread out to the sides. Feel the movement of energy through your hips. And setting up for cattail pose with the right knee bending up and over. So option 2, place a cushion under your head and the right knee bends up and over. You can bump your left hip back as much as you want to, and then bend that back leg to reach back with your right hand to hold your left foot. This is a more intermediate or advanced pose, so if you want a mellower option, take the regular twist with 2 knees bent and simply let them fall over to the left. So feeling the twist in the spine, and if you're in the cattail variation, and noticing maybe some extra sense of back bend. And notice how your breath flows in the pose. And slowly releasing, bringing the legs back up to the center. And slowly make your way into windshield wipers again, side to side. And take it over to the second side. Left knee bends up, support under the head if you'd like. Support under the bent knee as well is an option. A bolster, a block, or a cushion. And getting that right hip way back before you bend the foot. And if this pose is new to you, it might be confusing. Just take the simple twist option today. In both poses, the spine is twisting as the hips turn one way and the shoulders turn the opposite way. And resting, breathing, and softening. And slowly releasing your cattail or twist pose, coming back to the center. And coming into final relaxation now, finding your Shavasana pose. Take up as much space as you'd like. Spread your arms and legs as much as you feel like. Prop yourself in any way that feels good right now. And cover yourself with a blanket or any extra clothes if you want to stay warmer. Making any final adjustments so that you can really let go now. Preparing for a deep rest. Taking this time to integrate this full body experience of stretching, stimulating, lengthening all the major target areas of the body. Feeling yourself bathed in awareness as the body becomes a magnet for the mind. The sensations in the body drawing the mind completely into this deep space of rest. And when you're ready, you can begin to bend your knees and gently roll over to one side and come up for a seated meditation. Make yourself comfortable on the floor or on a chair. Use a cushion under the seat if you'd like. And sitting up, letting the eyes close. And feel what's happening here now with your spine upright. Feel your breath. And let's sit in silence for a few moments. And now gently lift the hands and just place them over your low belly, one on top of the other. And feel your breath here as you expand outward, the hands making a gesture that follows the breath, opening on the inhale and back to the belly on the exhale. And again, inhale, opening, and exhale, collecting the energy here at the low belly center. One last time, inhale. Exhaling in. And moving up to the heart. Hands over the heart. Feel the breath here in the heart. And opening out as you inhale. Closing and folding as you exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And up to the forehead, to the third eye. Inhaling and opening from this space of the brain and exhaling back, centering on this sixth chakra center. Inhale, opening, and exhaling. Last time, inhale, expanding, exhaling and collecting. And feeling the energy gathered at these 3 points along the central channel. Breathing now with your whole body. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. I will see you next time. Namaste.